Columbus, Raleigh, Vespucci, Balboa. The big names of New World exploration were all interested in an area of South America known as the Wild Coast. Legends of a great golden city called El Dorado fueled the discovery of what we know today as Guyana, the land of many waters. Settled by the Dutch, colonized by the British, the Cooperative Republic of Guyana became a sovereign nation in 1966. Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America and the fourth smallest country on the continent. It is also home to the largest untouched rainforest in South America and Kayatur Falls, by volume the largest single-drop waterfall in the world. With a population of 770,000 people, Guyana is rich with a wide diversity of cultures. Large proportions of the population originated from India, Africa, Europe, and China over the past 200 years. These groups intermixed with the local Amerindian people to create a culture that is unique to Guyana. While these different ethnicities retain distinctions, they all share a common loyalty to being Guyanese, a pride that stretches back generations. The story of the Adventist Church in Guyana also stretches back a long ways, more than 130 years.
In 1883, a reluctant sea captain accepted a package with Signs of the Times magazine in New York, and he was asked to deliver it here in Guyana when the ship he was captaining would have reached Port Georgetown. And from the record, we learned that when he got here, he almost forgot, but then when he remembered, he took the package and he threw it out on the wharf and said, "I have done what I have promised." And there was an unsuspecting man who noticed what the captain did, and when the package started to scatter on the stelling or the port, he went and he picked up a few copies and he took them home, and he got ill. And one of his neighbors who was not seeing him decided to pass by to pay him a visit. And when she paid him a visit, she noticed these magazines or packages on his table and asked if she could borrow it. And she was allowed, and she read and sent copies to her sister in Barbados. And that's the story. They started to keep the Sabbath, and they wrote and asked for help subsequently. And in 1887, the General Conference, well, in 1886, the General Conference took a decision to send one pastor down here, and he baptized the first set of Adventists here and organized a group right in the city of Georgetown. 30 persons were baptized at that first baptism, and that's the story of how Adventism started in Guyana.
Many years later, the Adventist Church has a strong and recognizable presence in the country.
Generally, we are active, said a bunch of people. We are known throughout the country. It's not like, who's a Seventh Adventist? Nah, it's not that kind of thing. Once you say Seventh Adventist, you're known, all right? So we're very active. We are public. Persons know about us, and particularly we are right across the country. The Seventh Adventist Church is known for their method of evangelism, which is the public evangelism, setting up a tent, as you would say, for tent meetings. We are known for that.
The Adventist Church is well known in Guyana because the average Adventist member is very active in sharing their faith.
The work of spreading the gospel is not just for the pastor. I'll start there. All right. But an active laity really makes the work easier. All right. It's basically on all grounds a reflection of personal spirituality and taking that call to preach the gospel in whatever way, not just from the pulpit. So the laity being active, it really helps us to carry out the commission, the mandate to just share the love of Jesus wherever. And of course, it makes my work a little easier, you know, because it's just one of me. And for me to touch everybody in the community, it'll be almost impossible. So it's crucial, and the laity is working very hard.
One of the members that works hard to grow her church is Paula Seeley.
Okay. What can I do for you today?
Paula is a cosmetologist. She operates a business in a small building in front of her house. And she keeps an eye on her church, which is just across the street. As the head elder of the Mahika Church, Paula feels a personal responsibility to reach out to her neighbors.
I want to do my best, all that I have, to do missionary work, because it's my dream to see a lot of persons being won to Christ. Working for God has impacted me a lot, and I feel great working for Him because He has done so much for me. I need to tell others of what God has been doing for me and what God can do for them. If they come in contact with God, they would know who He is, they would get to know who He is, and they would get to know how sweet it is to love God.
The Mahika congregation that Paula attends was established in 1948. The church that they worship in was built more than 60 years ago, and it was falling apart.
It has been deteriorating time after time, and we try to do our best, to repair different parts. But when you repair one part, another part goes bad, and it has been infested with ants. So we consider of having a new church, and the members start to give sacrificially. We got donations from outside, and it kept growing. The cash kept growing, and we've decided that someday, and we kept praying from time after time that, Lord, we need a new church, we need a new church, we need a new church. It's a number of years that we have been praying for a new church, and we're not seeing it, but there's something called mountain moving faith. Lord, we need our church now. We need something to happen.
The church members heard that Maranatha was helping to build churches, but they didn't know if they would qualify. So, after a great deal of prayer, they decided to take a leap of faith and tear down their church to make way for a new one.
Maranatha came on the second Sabbath in September and gave us the okay that everything's going to be all right. And then I officially announced to the church that Maranatha would be doing the church. After I got the official letter in my hand, then I said to the church, Maranatha was here, as I have gotten the official letter, that Maranatha would be helping us with a new church. Whoa, 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 whoa. It was commotion in church. It was really, real commotion. They started to shout. Some persons started to cry. Water came from my eyes to know it came true. It came true. And we said, God bless Maranatha.
When we come back, meet more church members in Guyana who are determined to build new churches.
Elizabeth used to spend hours fetching water for her family. The nearest well was several kilometers away, and every day she had to make at least 3 trips there and back. Today, Elizabeth's life is different. Maranatha Volunteers International drilled a well in her village. Now, her access to water takes only minutes, which means Elizabeth has more time and more water. Enough to plant fruit trees and a vegetable garden. Life is changing for Elizabeth and her family, thanks to water. Give water, give life.
make a living, Willem Sowers does construction work. But the work he really loves happens away from the job site. He is another Adventist church member in Guyana that is actively involved in spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ one person at a time.
Because you find that when you move with foot, you get to meet with people, you get to talk with them, people ask you questions, you share the gospel. So that's how it is, and that's how we're doing work in and around the community.
As Willem makes friends in the communities he walks through, he starts new congregations of believers, like this one in the farming community of Swan. After a church member donated a piece of property, the members erected a temporary structure for worship.
Whenever it rains, well, we get soaked. Whenever the sun is in, God is there. When the rain is falling, God is there also. We enjoy that, but still looking for betterment by God's grace.
Willem knows that a church building does more than keep the rain out. It serves as a home base where people can reach out and serve their neighbors.
Yeah, it's important to have a building in this community because the people need to know about the gospel, and they're showing interest in knowing about it, and their lives needs to be transformed. And I believe that having the church in this community will be able to empower people in this community to live better lives, and they can get to know more about Jesus and turn to Him before it is too late. At least they are very interested in hearing the gospel.
Stanley Watson is another church member in Guyana who is taking personal initiative to reach people with the gospel. He's an electrician by trade, and every day he commutes across the river to Georgetown to make a living. But the work that he's really passionate about is growing the community of believers in Guyana. 8 years ago, free medical outreach was conducted in the community of Bell West by the local Adventist hospital, and interest was sparked in religious topics. Stanley was asked to shepherd the small group of interested people. Soon, the group started growing, and they needed a place to meet. One of the young men who attended volunteered his parents' carport. It wasn't ideal, but it was the best space available.
I tell you what, it's kind of breezy. Sometimes you can get wet if it's raining and the winds are high, but that don't deter the spirit.
And that's not the only challenge of meeting outside in a neighborhood.
Well, we have some challenges in terms of because of the closeness to the road, and it's kind of busy here. So sometimes you will have to pause when vehicles are passing, loud music playing. Being an open area can pose some challenge, and not so much with the sunshine, but more so with the rain. And I think we might be running out of space, because one of the things that we've been attracting lots of little children at the Adventure Club. We got started the Pathfinder Club as well, and we had to stop some children from joining the club, not from coming to the story hour, but in another 2 weeks we'll be restarting, and I suspect that the club will be filled and the space will be filled.
The lack of a permanent place to worship does not deter Stanley from working tirelessly to make new friends.
One of the things we started to do is to make friendship with many of the people, and the dream is to evangelize the whole area. Win as many as you can win. We've been doing so, but there's no place to put them. We've had a few in-house meetings with some non-members and some of the members. There are a few members living here on Wednesday nights, and that was a good initiative, and folks are still looking forward for our coming.
Stanley knows that not having a church is a hindrance to some.
People associate the place of worship with the God who you worship. People would say, yes, when you get a church, we'll come, and we take them to their word. Yes. And we've been praying, we've been talking about this almost every week.
Pastor Dennis Hamilton, ADRA Director for the Guyana Conference, says that this issue of not having a place to worship is a very real problem for Seventh-day Adventist congregations and the lay people that work hard to nurture them.
One thing that can dampen the spirit a little is that after winning so many souls for the Lord Jesus Christ, where are we going to put these folks? Are we going to go under a tree? Are we going to go in a school building? But even if that happens, it cannot be for long, because soon the folks will say, well, you cannot worship anymore in your school. So they are very happy when persons and departments and organizations can come into Guyana and help them to put up structures for churches and for schools.
Property for a new church in Bell West has been selected, and a new church is being built by Maranatha. When we come back, find out how Maranatha is helping to restore Adventist education to Guyana.
Last year, Maranatha coordinated 27 mission trips right here in North America, and we have 2 upcoming stateside projects needing volunteers. From May 13 to 25, join us at Leone Meadows, a youth camp in Northern California. The camp has requested Maranatha's help with renovating 2 miles of narrow-gauge railroad tracks. We'll also be assisting with many other minor construction projects at the camp. Sign up to help them prepare for their busy summer season. A few years ago, Maranatha hosted several projects on the campus of Milo Adventist Academy. This summer, from June 17 to July 1, we'll return to continue renovations at the school, as well as work at Camp Umpqua, a junior camp located on the property. Like all our North American projects, there is no participation fee. Your food, lodging, and insurance are covered in exchange for your service. Just be sure to register before you arrive. For more information about all of our volunteer opportunities, visit our website.
Bolivia. Located in the heart of South America, is a captivating country brimming with breathtaking landscapes, colorful culture, and welcoming people. Here, everyone is a missionary, inviting neighbors to church and creating community for people to belong. Their primary challenge? Churches. There are not enough churches in Bolivia, and people are meeting in broken buildings, people's homes, and dusty sheds. Starting in 2018, we'll be taking the mission of Maranatha to every part of Bolivia. Join the movement, make a donation, or volunteer on an upcoming project.
When Maranatha first responded to the request for churches in Guyana, there was also another very urgent request for schools. The Adventist Church has not operated schools in Guyana since 1976, and Richard James, president of the Adventist Church in Guyana, wants to change that.
Before 1976, the church operated a number of schools, but in 1976, the government, under the leadership of former President Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, he decided that he wanted education to be free from nursery to university, and as a result of that, he started what we could call the taking over of all private schools in Guyana to bring them under the umbrella of the Ministry of Education. So in that year, the Adventist Church lost control over all its schools. We feel that the school system, the formal school system, is an integral part, an integral agency in advancing the Adventist work. The school, the church, and the home work together to make the Adventist person fully ready and prepared for mission. And we believe that with the re-establishment of the Adventist school system, the church in Guyana would not be hurt, but the church in Guyana would be helped.
Jonathan Hangsen is a parent who would like to send his kids to an Adventist-run school. Jonathan and his wife operate a roadside cafeteria, offering wholesome vegetarian food to the community.
This is officially going to be John Carr Bakery Establishment, and we want this, our intention is for this to be purely Adventist. What we do here is a wide variety of vegetarian products, everything vegetarian. We don't do any meats, no chicken, no beef, no fish, vegetarian. And the reason for this is to make the community healthier and to witness as well that, you know, Adventism is not a boring religion. Even in the way we eat, the way we live, we can enjoy life. And so many times customers attest to this fact that they truly enjoy what we provide here, and they are truly blessed. They call it a blessing when they purchase anything that we have here. So this is what it's all about.
The food stand helps to pay the bills, but like the others you've met, Jonathan's real interest lies in church planting. But he's also passionate about Christian education, and there is a serious need for that in Guyana.
And so education, to my mind, is crucial because it takes up actually, it's like 8 hours, 5 days a week, our children would be in an educational institution. And should we have that Seventh-day Adventist environment for them, 8 hours, 5 days a week, that would help a great deal in helping our young children to be prepared more, to become more spiritual, to be more focused, to have that love that they need to have for God, that we need to see in their lives. So it's on that premise I would suggest, and I would pray, and I would, argue that we really need that strong Adventist presence in our educational sector here in this country.
Currently, several private schools are operated in Guyana by Adventist lay members, but no schools are operated by the Adventist Church. So Pastor James asked Maranatha to help by building one new school in Georgetown. The new school will be located right across the street from the Adventist Hospital.
I am confident that we'll have more of our younger children being more spiritual. One, I also am convinced that that will be a soul-winning entity, because wherever there's a Seventh-day Adventist school, persons normally gravitate to it. So I think this would be a soul-winning entity for the surrounding community, and our children would have an atmosphere to grow in.
Paula, Willem, Stanley, and Jonathan are just 4 examples of why the Adventist Church is growing in Guyana. They have caught the vision of what it means to be a disciple. They care about their neighbors, and they want to see them in heaven. So they work tirelessly to share God's love with everyone. The work is hard and sometimes lonely. It can be discouraging to see a group melt away because there isn't a formal place to meet for worship. But they persevere anyway, taking advantage of every opportunity that they see. Today, they need support from their brothers and sisters around the world. They need your help to build churches. Churches that will bring congregations in from the rain, but that will also provide places set aside to worship the Creator God. With your help, Maranatha will build churches in Mahaica, Swan, Bell West, and several other communities in Guyana. And your help is needed to build a new school in Georgetown. Work is already underway so that classes can start in the fall of 2018. Join Maranatha in helping the church to grow in Guyana.